Watch this video to see how this e-commerce company used AI across creative, workflow automation, and coding to save 1,000 hours a month. Welcome to the AI for Marketing show. I'm your host, Angelina. I have many years of experience in marketing in the tech industry, and this show is for marketers to keep up with the pace of AI. So, like many of you, I've been fascinated with the developments of AI in marketing. And the idea really was to create a platform where we can host conversations with leaders and innovators in marketing. So, with that, I'm actually super excited to welcome as our first guest, our very first guest, Ritu Java, who is the CEO of PPC Ninja and who is doing amazing work with AI in e-commerce and Amazon. And I'd like Ritu to kind of introduce her to us in her own words. So, Ritu, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angelina, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And it's great that you're starting this initiative because, the world needs more, not less of any kind of AI training that you can give or, just getting people to have a conversation around AI. So I really commend you on the great initiative here. So a little bit about myself. So I'm the PPC Ninja, or I'm the CEO of the PPC Ninja agency, and we help brands succeed on Amazon. And basically, we help them with their advertising. So we run their ads for them. In addition, we also help them with AI creatives. So when I say AI creatives, I mean creatives that have been largely generated by AI. And then we kind of layer on other elements to make them ready for Amazon because there's a certain type of look and feel that shoppers are, used to on Amazon. And there's a lot of rules and guidelines around like what kind of images to put up. In addition, we also help with the copy itself because Amazon's copy again follows a certain pattern, and we need to have it optimized for AI because Amazon recently released their Rufus chatbot, which is basically shoppers having a conversation with a chatbot and asking it for recommendations for stuff that they want to purchase. So we're also helping our clients who are Amazon sellers to optimize their listings so that they have the best copy for both the human as well as the algorithm. So that's kind of my world right now. That's what I'm working on these days, and it's always fun learning about AI.
Very exciting, very exciting. And I mean, so obviously, the sense that I get is that you're completely immersed in the world of AI and leveraging it to make your clients look smarter and yourself also, right? Like for your agency operations to go faster. So great. So I think like we're going to have a bunch of stuff to get into. But given that we're just kind of starting out, maybe if you can pick one or two examples of how exactly are you leveraging AI that has really changed the way, right? Like that you're doing your operations or you brought in efficiencies. Maybe one or two examples. If you want to share your screen, that's great as well. I just love to learn, from you in your experience, and I'm sure the viewers will also, want to learn, right? So if you can pick one or two examples of AI and how you're infusing it,
Yeah.
that'll be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I did this calculation a while ago. It might have changed now, but basically, my team is saving somewhere close to 1,000 hours per month, just because
Wow.
we switched to using AI. So it's been just amazing how AI has not only, compacted and compressed the amount of time we spent on different activities, it's also brought in new skills that we never had. So I've had to hire less and less because AI is substituting the skills that I never had in my team, right? So that's kind of the big game changer that's happened over the past year, saving $1,000. So
What kind of skills? Sorry,
Mhm.
sorry
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
interruption. But you mentioned a really specific number, right? Which is a
yeah,
1,000 hours per month. What
yes.
kind of skills is that usually in? And
Mhm.
and what kind of AI tools are you using? I mean, I just love our viewers to get very specific, actionable takeaways.
Yeah.
if they're thinking about creative or copy or whatever, right? Like if you can dive into that
Yes.
a little bit.
Absolutely. So I would like to say that there's three main areas where we use AI internally at our agency. So the first one is for uh, AI creatives. So any kind of visuals, like any kind of videos or images. So we use AI for that, and we use a bunch of tools, and I can share some examples. That's the first one. The second one is, workflow automation. So, for
Okay.
example, you have a workflow where one team member uploads a bunch of images to a Google Drive folder. And then we have an automation running on that folder, which means it's watching that folder every couple of minutes or whatever and looking for new inputs. And as soon as you have a new input, that is picked up and sent to ChatGPT, which then creates an AI generated caption, which then pushes it to the next step, which is to post it on Facebook or Instagram or any other place where your
Wow.
social media
Okay.
is. So that automation, we created it in make.com, which
Okay.
is a workflow automation. But the thing is, automation has always existed. Like there's always been Zapier and other tools. But what we're doing differently now is that we're bringing in the LLMs into the mix. Like we have an LLM component to this workflow. So everything will go to ChatGPT or any other API. We could use Gemini or Chat. We prefer using ChatGPT at the moment. The API is pretty inexpensive and it does the job. So I can show you that automation in a bit. So that's one specific way,
Okay.
the second one actually, the second
Yeah.
specific way in
So
which we're
AI for
using it.
creative
Yeah,
and then AI
creatives,
for workflow
workflow.
operation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the third one is for coding or generating code that will help us with analytics. Because marketing generates so much data. Like data is everywhere. A lot of people just, they get crushed under
I
the
know I'm
overwhelming
drowning
amount
in
of
data.
data, right? That's so when you're drowning in data and you don't know what to look at, you got to have a system that can pick up anomalies from time to time, because we don't want to be the ones looking for anomalies with human eyes. We actually want these bots to go in there, and as soon as a certain condition is met, we want it to be watchful of that and let us know through an email. So basically, data comes to you rather than you go to the data. So that's the fundamental shift that AI has enabled. And so I don't think AI currently is ready for just throwing it a bunch of data and then it giving you some analysis. That generally
Yeah.
doesn't happen in a nice way or in a predictable way. There's a lot of hallucination that happens. There's a lot of like context that it's missing, and then you spend a lot of time designing a system which the AI cannot really fathom fully because there's
Mhm.
other moving parts that it doesn't know about. So then what do you do? Instead, what you want is you create code. In our case, we generate Google App Script code that runs on our Google Workspace, and it does the job. So in a predictable manner. So everything it does is predictable, and it gives you an anomaly detection update every day. So all of my team has kind of filled out a form or a spreadsheet where they've said, if this condition is met on this one of my clients, then please send me an email. So when that condition is met, let's say your spend has exceeded a certain amount, or let's say there's been 2 consecutive days with less than a certain amount of sales, or it could be anything. And
Right,
then
right.
this app script is watching for that data in BigQuery. So BigQuery is our
Wow.
data warehouse, and that's where all of the streaming data from ads, etc., goes in. And BigQuery is watching that, and it generates an email, and it sends it to my team
Perfect. Like a
without them
minion
having
working.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
like
awesome.
a
Yeah.
minion.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. This is
yeah.
amazing. This is like ninja minions for you, right?
Ninja minions, lots and lots of them. The thing is, Angelina, at this point, we can have an unlimited number of employees in our organizations. It's just up to us. Like it's up to our creativity. It's just limited by how you dream things up and how you set them up, because you can just expand and grow the way you like, because AI is there to help. So why think small? That's my mantra. Like, think big, and just keep expanding. Just keep using these unlimited number of employees that you have free access to.
Awesome, awesome. Well, my mind was racing in 1,000 different directions as you were talking, because I was like, well, how do you do this, and what exactly does it look like, right? But I know that we have
Yeah.
limited time here, so
Yeah.
I mean, but I think you've done a fantastic job of just kind of like doing some broad brush strokes of how you guys are like leveraging AI. But if there's anything that you wanna, if you're keen to show your screen or show something to our
Yeah.
viewers, I think that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me show you one example of a video that we created with AI. And I can just play it, although the audio may not come through, but I can just play the whole video. And this was assembled in Canva, but the parts were generated by AI in a tool called Sora, which Sora is one of the OpenAI's
Sure.
text-to-video editor, or prompt editors. And
Yeah.
you can actually generate a lot of like footage there and then piece it together. And so I'm just going to play this. You can take a look. Yeah, so you get the idea. So that's kind of a,
Yeah.
simple little video, because on Amazon, when we run these video ads, they're supposed to be, around 15 seconds, because that's generally the attention span of a shopper. They'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, I'm interested. They'll click. So these short videos, these video clips, can be generated in Sora. So I can show you what Sora looks like. My Sora is just full of all the different experiments that I've been running, but let me see if
Yeah.
I can get to the bottom. And, I've just been creating so many. A lot of them, by the way, Angelina, I have to toss them because they're so weird. Like, I can show you this one. See how the third shoe emerges from the back. So it's not accurate, right? So I have to do a lot of tweaking, editing, things like that. And like, look at this. This is
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
floating in the. So there's bloopers, plenty of bloopers that you can laugh at. But the point
Yeah.
is, you will find gems in there. You will find ways to kind of extract. So, for example, this one I can show you is not following the principles of physics. But if I were to pause this at any point and take a screenshot of
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
I have a great image. So it may not
Yeah.
completely satisfy the requirement, but I can still use this and then use another app which can be fed multiple images, and then it will generate the flow between those different scenes. So there's
Beautiful.
a bunch of different techniques we use. So that was the first example that I wanted to show you. Now there's so many, right? Like there's another where this one was
And one of the
mm,
thoughts that I had was that even though these are not following like the law of physics, like you said, but the world of advertising and marketing is about imagination. So I think, in advertising, if you can just catch somebody's fancy with something, um, that's
yeah.
that's totally fair game, right? So
You nailed it.
yeah,
You nailed it. That,
yeah,
I'm totally in agreement, because I don't mind AI images. I don't mind video. I'm consuming that content all day long on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, that
sure.
puppy is so cute, or that kitten is so cute. I don't care if it was AI generated. It's got my attention, and I like it. It's fine.
Right,
So
right.
if people kind of get into this state where they're waiting for perfection, it's not going to happen, right? So
Yeah,
use whatever
yeah.
you're getting right now, and expand your businesses, add money back to your bottom line, and so on. So that would be my advice.
Awesome.
So at this point, I want to show you the other example of how I use make.com, and let
Okay.
me just show you what it looks like. So here are some, just an example that I created. So uh, this workflow, so make.com has these modules, right? I'll just zoom in a little bit. So this one is watching for something on Google Drive, and then it's looking for a particular type of file. It iterates through the whole list, and it gives you a file that is then sent from Google Drive to ChatGPT, which is connected here. Everything is authenticated here, but you can basically connect variables from one app to the other just because there's an API connection that's been pre-authenticated, right? So it makes it very easy then to kind of run it through. And then from here, it's using a router, which means you're just having a split. The output goes to two places. It sends it to Facebook, and then it also sends it to a record that I'm keeping of all the images and the corresponding caption that was generated by AI. I'm just keeping a record of that in another sheet. So that's basically my workflow. And essentially, I could just run it for you. I have my Facebook here. It's connected. So let me just go over to. Yeah. Okay. So basically, let me just go over and add. There's a drive folder. So let's say this is my drive. There's social media photos. So let's say I just copied this in. This is an image that looks like that. Okay. Now I'm going to run my make.com automation. So let's see if this works because it's been a day or two since I ran it. I'm just going to run it again. So as you can see, it started, but it stopped because I needed to do it a slightly different way. Let's see. Let me just, okay, there we go. So I'm going to try it again. Okay.
It's fascinating to see it in real time. So
yeah, so that was, it needed a fresh input for it to do anything because that was already processed.
okay.
Somehow, yeah, it did it. You saw how it trickled through the whole
Yeah. I saw the Facebook icon
Yeah.
kind of like pop up. So it reached
Yeah.
the end of the
It
train
reached the
ran
end.
its
So now,
course. Yeah.
exactly, the train ran its course, and now
Yeah.
it's showing me that there were like two rows that were processed, right?
Yeah.
Because there were two images. Now let's go over to my Facebook and see what happened. Okay, so I'm just gonna refresh it, and let's see. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Let's see if it did it. Moment of truth. Moment of truth.
But
I
that's
actually
the
have.
beauty of the experimentation phase we're in right now, right? That we're
Yes,
just
yes,
experimenting
yes.
and,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm trying to see if it was in this account or did it go to my other account? One sec.
so had it worked, what would we have
Oh, there it
seen? We
is.
would have seen
Yeah,
a
here it
new,
is. It
okay,
worked. Yeah,
just
it says
now.
just
There we
now.
go.
You can see,
Wow.
yeah. So this was the image I uploaded, and this was the
Okay.
caption that ChatGPT generated. Now, of course, it has this extra quote, which I can actually edit out. I don't have to do it every time. I can just go into make and say do not add quotes, for
I
example.
see.
So what is it?
Okay.
It generated this text. It says, add a sprinkle of color and charm to your day. Discover the elegance of handcrafted hoops that dance between the chic and playful, perfect for dazzling at any occasion. Now, I didn't give it any crazy direction. It just
Sure.
read the image. That's it.
Yeah.
Read the
Yeah.
image and generated a caption. It
Mm,
generated hashtags. It generated
yeah.
emojis, everything on its own because that part is happening here. That magic is happening here in this area. Now, if I show you what
Mm.
my prompt looked like, I can actually go in here and show you the under the hood scene here. So here's my prompt: write an engaging and creative caption for this photo for social media. And then I have a dynamic placeholder that's coming from my Google Drive export, whatever
Mhm.
I picked up from the
Pull the
previous.
photo. Yep.
And I just drag and drop it here. So it's a pretty drag and drop, kind of easy
Yeah.
to understand kind of workflow. And so this workflow alone can save us so much time.
Sure.
So these are the things that if you only know how to do it,
Yep.
or know that there's something that's possible, you don't have to worry too much because you don't need to know everything about everything, but you need to only
Yeah.
know that this is possible, and then you
Yeah.
can iterate on that. You can improvise. Like, I'm literally thinking about this stuff all day long at the back of my head, like, what else can I automate, like how else can I
Yeah.
make this
Yeah.
a different workflow, and so on. So there's many such examples. We've even automated our hiring process. Like, recently, we just added a a workflow that starts with Google Forms, fields candidates, takes their input, spreads them out, sends that input to ChatGPT. It analyzes the answers, and based on a rubric of questions and answers or weights that we've provided ChatGPT, it'll come back with a verdict, which is good, bad, ugly. It just tells us this is
Yeah.
a great candidate. And then the last step of that workflow is that we get an automated email, which is generated from Google App Script, and it sends me and my HR guy an email saying a great candidate has been found. Now, I didn't have to feed these; they're just up on my LinkedIn, the link to the Google form. So this whole workflow, it just
Yeah.
works like a charm. It just works like a
Fantastic.
charm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're right in the thick of it. And if I was to have this conversation with you in like 2 weeks' time, like what are your top tools and ideas would be completely different, right? Like because you're like
Yes.
discovering new stuff all the time. So I feel like we
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
kind of come back and like have the conversation again.
Sure.
But I'm going to do my best to recap also for our viewers, a few of the areas that you kind of like touched upon. And so I think like you started out by essentially sharing that you've managed to save in a month's time about 1,000 hours of work, right? Like across your agency itself. And you mentioned that, the top three areas that you're really like leveraging AI for are in the creativity, in your workflow operations, right? And the third one, I think, which was the third one again? Remind me.
Yeah, so that's basically creating code that can help with analytics,
Perfect.
which I
Okay.
didn't
Yes.
share, but it's a pretty complex thing and it's a little hard to
Yeah.
demonstrate. But yeah.
Yeah. So my mind is obviously blown away with everything that you shared. So everything is kind of like,
Yeah.
'cause I'm thinking about like, oh wow, the videos that you showed from Sora were looking so fun as well. And then I think the
Yeah.
the make.com flows also they look so useful, right? From an efficiency and a productivity perspective. So Ritu, I think our hopefully like people who are going to be listening to this conversation, see all the magic that's possible there, and if they want to get in touch with you, whether to
Mhm.
learn more about this stuff or even to engage with your agency services, what's the best way for them to
Mhm.
find you?
Yeah, so I'd like to invite your audience to my free newsletter. It's an AI for e-commerce newsletter. It goes out every Tuesday. In fact, I sent one this morning,
Okay.
and I can share the link with you, and you can put it in the show notes. But it is ppc-ninja.com, and they
Okay.
will be able to kind of go there, look at all my previous newsletters. We've done 33 so far, and you can also kind of subscribe there. So that's one way of kind of staying in touch and seeing what we're up to and what we're doing.
Okay.
And from time to time we'll share stuff that they can do on their own DIY style, or if they want an agency like us to kind of help with images and creatives. Now, just keep in mind that we're an Amazon focused agency, so if someone wants creatives for Amazon, that'll be our kind of main
Okay.
focus.
Yeah.
Additionally, if people need help with workflow automation, just keep in mind that there's a lot of human time involved in designing a workflow. So I would suggest you get your hands dirty first with starting, just one or two automations and seeing how it works for you. And then you hire an agency that says, okay, we'll design this automation for you and set it up for you. And then, you can run with it and save time, just like we have been saving thousands of
Yeah.
hours. So that's kind of how you can interact. And then I think the last thing to say is that I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So my full name, RITU JAVA, that's my handle. And you can find me there anytime, hit me up and say hi.
Yeah, no, I mean, this has really been amazing. I feel like I learned so much from this discussion, and it opened up my eyes and wants me actually to start exploring, right? Like, and get right into like make.com and Sora and all that. So I know you're a busy lady, lots going on, even though you have so many of your AI minions, right? Like working for you. It's always
Yeah,
amazing and inspiring to talk with you. Honestly, thank you so, so very much for taking our time and
thanks so much.
sharing some of these
Yeah,
nuggets. And I'd be
thanks so
happy
much.
to have you back again on the show. So thank you, Ritu.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to come back. Thanks so much, Angelina. This is great. Awesome.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.